What do you do to like prepare for like scenes where like comedic scenes where like you're not the straight man, like you are the one that's like really driving the action?
Oh yeah.
Welcome to episode number 4 of the Comedy and Film Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Benjamin Vomastic, and today I'm joined by Ben Arms, who played Travis in the upcoming production, Hometown Summer. How are we doing today, Ben?
Hey, I'm doing great, Ben. How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Excited to be here. Excited to chat all things film, creative, Hometown Summer, dude.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Hell yeah. Me too. I'm really looking forward to this.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, just starting off, what got you into acting or the creative space in general?
Yeah, so I got into acting after I saw The Matrix.
Really?
Yeah. When I was like a child, my friends got it on DVD, and they showed it. My parents didn't want me to watch that movie.
Yeah.
Because I was like a little kid. And they showed it to me on DVD, and I was just like, whoa. Like, it didn't make me want to be a hacker or even do anything with guns. I just really wanted to be Keanu Reeves.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, I want to do what that guy's doing. That guy's badass right there.
So how old was this?
Oh my gosh, I don't remember when this was. It was like right after The Matrix came out on DVD, so I must have been like 7 or 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, young.
Yeah, young. And like, that was like, acting was honestly, that was the first job I ever wanted to do as like a kid. And I remember after we watched The Matrix, my friends were like, hey, let's do like a Matrix parody video. And so they like got out the home video camera and we like literally like filmed like a Matrix skit.
Yeah, at like 7, 8?
At like 7, 8, yeah.
Oh, wow. Holy shit, okay.
And then we, you know, because like you remember like using old cameras like that back in the day, like before you like had an editing system, you'd have to like shoot it in sequence on the tape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we didn't edit it. So it was just like, all right, here's the scene, here's the next scene, here's the next scene, here's the next scene. And then we literally like rewound the tape, plugged it into our friend's TV and watched it back. And that was like the moment for me where I was like, whoa, like I'm on TV, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then that got me into like acting and then subsequently filmmaking just because like I needed to act in something. So I started making my own sketches and stuff to put myself in it.
And like, was this all like when you were like 8, 9, 10, 11? Or
yeah,
was there
all through my adolescence. Yeah, elementary school, middle school, high school, all the way into college when I started going to school for video production.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So it started around 7, 8 and it just didn't stop.
Just never stopped. I'm still here doing it today. All of almost 32 years old. And I'm still going strong.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah. No, that's great.
Yeah, no, that was a very formative movie for me, The Matrix. I was just like, this is such a cool thing to be doing. Like, I would love to be in like a exciting, crazy, like imaginary world like that. And that was like before I realized like what filmmaking actually is, which is just like it's fun, but it's like not as exciting as the movie ends up. You know what I mean? It's not like you're actually like running around shooting guns.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, all right, let's get this take of you going out from behind the corner and cut. All right, that was great. Let's move on to the next.
Yeah. No, yeah, that definitely is very real.
But that's what's cool about it. Like, I like seeing it all come together. Like, that's what they say. That's where the magic happens.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, there's definitely like when you're making a film, like to anyone who hasn't, like a good portion of it is just like waiting for the next like lighting setup and just
hurry up and wait.
Camera setup. Yeah.
Hurry up and wait. All right, we're not going to need you for another 3 days.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and wait in this basement down here while we do the next lighting cue?
Yeah.
But
what was your first like serious role or like project in like someone else's?
So I think the first thing I did in someone else's work was probably not until I was in college.
Okay. And
I did my first group video project. And like in film school, you know, it's like everyone's trying to make the movie, but then like that's like a thing where like a film program and an acting program can be really like cohesive in that it's like the filmmakers need actors to be in their film projects and the actors want experience doing acting, so it's like, oh, that seems like a perfect marriage. But me already being somebody who loved and wanted to be an actor, like our first film project, I like threw my hat in the ring. I was just like, I will star in the first film project. And it was something that, you know, these guys, one of the guys actually still like my best friend to this day, actually. We met doing this project and like been buddies ever since. That's my golf buddy.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah. That was at Easter?
That was at Washington College. Okay. Yep. Great film program. And yeah, so I acted in that, and that was like my first time being like directed and having someone else edit my footage of me in it. So it was kind of like a weird like out of body kind of like, oh, I don't have like complete control of this like I did in high school of like making my own stuff.
Yeah, how was that?
Oh, it turned out so good. It was like, that was when I learned so much about filmmaking just working with other filmmakers. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like, a lot of the guys that were in that group specifically had a lot of prior experience. They were just going through the program. So like my buddy, shout out Garrett Salmons, he's the guy that he's like my best friend who's in that project. And he is just like, he taught me so much about filmmaking because he had a lot of experience prior to starting at WCC. Yeah,
well, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it was just like, and it looked great too. It looked better than anything I'd ever done in high school on my like shitty little handheld digital camcorder, you know? We were using DSLRs. We were using real cameras.
Yeah.
Canon 5D. Oh, man. Those were the days.
How is that for you? I'm curious, like, being a part of someone else's project where like, you don't have full control like that. Because that's something that I actually don't have experience with. Like, I've never, like...
Oh, yeah, because, you've just done your own feacher film.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So I'm just like curious, like what that is like.
Of just like giving up control of that.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of have this philosophy. I have this philosophy about filmmaking where like, you know, I think early on it was a little hard to come to grips with like letting go and like it being a little bit more collaborative. Yeah. Just because I was young and I was used to doing everything myself. But nowadays, I see every single person, cast, crew, gaffer, sound, extra, director, anybody, they're all filmmakers.
Oh yeah.
We're all contributing to like one singular idea. And like, for me now, when I'm like acting in something, I get cast in something, like, I think about myself as like, how am I serving the story? It's like, has absolutely nothing to do with me anymore. Like I had like my ego death about that like years ago. It's like, how does what I'm doing and contributing to this going to serve the story? Because the story is the key at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
You know? So I mean, I think I kind of look at it like that, and then, you know, just being able to trust everybody around me, and like having a trust that like everyone's competent, everyone knows what they're doing. Like I don't ever feel the need to like jump in and be like, oh, this light looks bad. Like, I'm going to trust the process because, like, if I'm acting in something, I'm going to focus on that. Focus on the acting part because that's, you know, that's what my job is here at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, and that's so, like, I have, like, an embarrassingly low amount of knowledge on, like, the technical aspects of filmmaking. Like, I definitely couldn't like not be like a cinematographer or a gaffer or sound or anything like that. Like I really do like lean on my crew a lot, and like I also like love like seeing like different like cast members' interpretations of scenes and whatnot. Like the whole like collaborative process is just, it's what makes film so beautiful in my opinion. Like really just like that teamwork. And yes, like there's definitely like just like so much collaboration on my projects. I guess like, and I'm not an actor. I've been in both of my movies, but like I'm not like a seasoned trained actor or anything like that. And I don't know what it would be like to be in like someone else's production.
Yeah,
like
I have a lot of fun.
You think so?
Oh yeah, man. You'd have a blast.
Yeah.
But you like as you were just saying there, like not having as much knowledge as like you know, somebody else about the actual equipment or whatever. Like that means you really got to put all of your full trust in everybody to like, you know, know that everybody's like a consummate professional.
Oh yeah,
and do their job the right way.
Yeah, definitely.
And you got great people on Hometown Summer.
Yeah, no, everyone like it's looking like from like technical perspective, like all like the lighting and the camera.
Oh yeah, because you're like how far has the edit going?
We're just into the beginning of the second act.
Nice. You like it? It's looking
it looks really good. No, I'm really happy with how everything's coming together.
Nice.
Yeah, still a little early on in the process, and I mean also like it's just like looks like very, very different. Like literally looks very different than how it will.
Sweet.
Because I don't want to get too technical. I don't want to go down too much of a rabbit hole, but like
nobody wants to listen to the technical.
Yeah, exactly. But with just like the actual like the way color correction and whatnot. Like I don't want to go down that whole rabbit hole, like color correction, all the things. But like it's very rough right now.
Yeah, sure.
Very much a rough draft.
Yeah. That's fun, man. Yeah, dude. I gotta say, I think Hometown Summer was. I told you this too. Like one of the best productions I've ever been on. Like 100%. Like it was so fun. It was a smooth ship. It was just going. Like, I mean, of course, I was only there like the first and last weekend.
Yeah.
But like, just from that, like even the first weekend, I felt like it was just. Everybody was like on task, you know what I mean? Like you did such a good job at getting, you know, like me and Henry and Ryland and Ben all like, you know, that good like, you know, mutual understanding before we like got into everything. I think that just like helped it just like shoot right up.
Well, thank you. That was awesome. That's really cool to hear.
Blowing smoke up your ass, dude.
Yeah.
Cut this part out. Yeah. Nobody needs to see that.
No, but no, for sure. That I really do appreciate that, and it is really important to me to like have like a strong on-set dynamic. It's great when like everyone's getting along. Not only when like things are like moving, and like everything's like flowing well, which I think things did flow very well. Yeah. But like just like everyone getting along with each other, like that was something that I really strived for, like very seriously this time around to make sure. I'm curious, have you like ever, I don't want to throw you on the spot. I mean, you've been on a ton of productions, so like, who knows which one you'd be referring to. Have you ever been on a production before where like there was like a bad on-set dynamic, or like people weren't getting along, or like things were like really wild?
You know, that's tough. Yeah, I mean, I've never really been on like a bad set where like people were like yelling or, you know.
That's
like,
good.
I think it's just mostly been like maybe there was just miscommunications on some sets, and like people get frustrated because like, you know, maybe they feel like things aren't heading in the direction that they want it to head in or whatever. And so there's like a little bit of like creative butting heads I've had sometimes, but no, I mean, I've never really been on anything that's been, you know, so bad that it like traumatized me.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'm just curious, because I've heard about some movies where like it's just like complete chaos on the sets.
Yeah.
But then like the movie ends up being fine, and I've heard the opposite too. Like I've heard where like there's like complete chaos and like it just ruined everything.
And it ruined the whole movie.
Yeah.
And then there's also like the thing where I feel like I've heard some actors say like, you had a great time on set, so the movie's gonna suck for sure.
Yes.
You know, and it's just like, oh wait, is it really though? Do we know?
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, I guess that could be any combination of factors, though. You know?
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily like mean that if you had a good, because like I've had great times on a bunch of sets, and I feel like most of them turned out pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Oh, that's awesome. No, it sounds like you've been very fortunate with your journey so far.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like I think especially like a bulk of the people that I've worked with acting wise are like, you know, a lot of people like I went to film school with.
Yeah, okay.
So like, you know, having like a friendship and just like knowing somebody ahead of time, I think that helps a lot too. Like going into something where you're like I've been on sets where I didn't know anybody.
That was
like,
kind of like this one, wasn't it?
Not really. I mean, like I knew you and like I'd met.
Well, you met me.
Yeah, I met you a few times. We talked.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But like no one like you didn't know anyone on this production beforehand, right?
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No.
Mm-hmm. But you're saying you've like gone to set before where like you did
cold.
Okay.
Yeah, cold. Like didn't know anybody. Didn't know what somebody looked like.
That sounds
before
wild.
I showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that can be kind of nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, it's just like
Yeah.
You just gotta hope that, like, when you show up, like, people don't suck. And I find most of the time people don't suck.
Yeah.
It's just in your head. You get the anxiety of just, like, oh, man, are they gonna like me?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it also helped a lot with the crew. I gave Rishi, our cinematographer, like, a ton of control with the hires on the crew, and, like, a lot of them were, like, just like, people he went to school with.
Oh, nice.
It's like there was just, like, such good chemistry with the crew already that, like, we already started with, and, like, you really see, like, how much that really matters.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, I think that helped a lot, especially, like, having, like, I feel like this is my first feature I've ever been on.
Okay.
And so, like, I thought that was a hugely different experience for me because, like, a lot of the times doing a short film, it's, like, maybe a couple people in the cast. Or just me.
Yeah. You know? This was pretty big, especially for, like, how small the budget was.
Yeah, it was a great ensemble. And, like, it was nice to just be able to, like, hang out with, like, the other actors and stuff. Like, actually have, like, people to, like, be there.
Yeah.
Rather than, like, we were talking about before, like, all right, we're doing a lighting cue, you know, be on standby for the next 2 hours. Yeah. I'm literally just, like, in a room by myself. Like,
yeah, okay, that sounds terrible.
Sulking on my phone.
Yeah. And, like, I love making the movie so much, but, like, some of my favorite parts of being on set are honestly, like, the dinner breaks. And, like, just, like, hanging out for an hour. Yeah, definitely. That was a lot of fun on this set.
Getting to shoot the shit about movies and just, like, whatever else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. It was great.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, all of the scenes that you're in this film really, they really, like, depend on you comedically. Like, you're really, like, carrying the performance comedically. And I'm curious.
I know, right?
I'm curious, like, what do you do to, like, prepare for, like, scenes where, like, comedic scenes where, like, you're not the straight man, like, you are the one that's, like, really driving the action.
Oh, yeah.
Because you do such a strong job of it. And there are, like, so many great actors I've worked with that, like, they're so funny, like, come time to, like, come to set, we get everyone together, and, like, we, like, cut the film together, and, like, everything works, and it's great and everything, but it's so hard to, like, get a laugh, like, in a self-tape audition, and, like, we got that from you, from your self-tape auditions, and I'm, like, really curious, like, what your process is like. How do you prepare? Like, what's going through your mind? And I know it's just, like, threw a ton at you.
Yeah,
like, I'm really curious.
Oh, let me parse through that a little bit. Yeah, because, you know, I think when, just if we're backtracking a little bit, I think, like, when I got the sides for Travis, when I sent in my first self-tape, and he kind of, like, gave me, like, a brief rundown on, like, who he was, I was thinking, like, I felt like it just clicked for me. Like, I was thinking about this, too. Like, I'd almost like to see my first self-tape audition compared to that scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Because I felt like from my first audition, we were, like, maybe, like, 60% of the way there.
Yeah, I would say so.
Like, I felt like I kind of got the gist of, like, his mannerisms and his voice and everything, like, from the jump.
Yeah.
So, like, how to make that funny? I mean, I feel like I just, I don't know, like, I feel like, especially doing something funny where it's supposed to be a comedy.
Yeah.
I just have to, like, not be serious about it. I think that's the thing. Like, I feel like that definitely could choke somebody up. Like, thinking, like, I gotta be funny, you know, if, like, if you're, like, living the momentum of, like, a character who's got that kind of, like, bravado and machismo, and, like, it's supposed to be kind of, like, a funny thing, you know? Like, playing into that and just doing it over the top, I feel like that's, I don't know, like, it's hard for me to, like, for me personally, I don't find myself very funny when I'm just being, like, regular, you know? So I feel like being able to, like, be in a character, like, a vibe where I can, like, really, like, live in it, you know? And, like, that makes sense. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well.
Yes, yeah. I think the one thing that's tripped me out a little bit is, like you said, like, not taking it so serious.
Yeah, like, I think, like, the character, like, just, like, knowing that it's funny, and because I think it's, like, it can be embarrassing for people when they try to be funny. Yeah. So, like, not having that in my mind, like, I'm just gonna be like not serious about it. You know what I mean? Like almost like, gosh, I'm making it sound like I'm not like taking my job seriously, but like
that's why it's tripping me up so much. Is because like I feel like, at least like to me, it seemed like, or at least the idea is that like you are like embodying Travis and like taking the world like super seriously through his lens.
Yes,
like it seemed like you were like. Because, like,
I guess
he's so different from who you are.
Yeah, I think what I mean when I mean not serious is, like, being loose.
Okay,
that's what I mean. Being loose, not, like, being like, being able to, like, be in the moment with it, and, like, having an understanding of who he is, and then being able to be loose with that. I feel like that lends to, like...
Yeah.
Maybe, like, a more naturalistic, you know, comedic sort of performance is just being able to be loose.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So you like your like big like your big strategy is just like taking it loose, like when doing
taking it loose. Yeah, I think so, because I feel like if you're not being loose, you can end up stiff, and like then it kind of like might lose the funniness of all. Unless the character is supposed to be stiff, and that's what makes it
100%.
Then like playing into that is like that would make that funny, you know.
No, yeah, and I'm like thinking back now, and I feel like what you said like really feels really game changing, because like I think about like some of the performances from Rosetta Stone, my first feature, and I feel like I can really see that in my mind. Like some of the stronger comedic performances, like I feel like they were being very loose, and then like going out like outside of like my projects, like just thinking about like Paul Rudd, like I think he's so funny.
Yeah,
like, and I think he's one of the greatest comedic actors of our time, and I feel like I'm just thinking of him in like Role Models. This is 40, the 40-year-old virgin.
Oh yeah.
Like in my mind, like it just feels like just super super loose.
Yeah. It's very natural. It feels like, it doesn't feel like he's acting.
Yeah.
Because it just feels like very in the moment, you know.
Yeah. No, that's a good one.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you like that.
Yeah. No, Henry gave a really good one. By the time I upload this will be the previous podcast. He gave a really good answer to.
Oh, yeah. What did Henry say?
Well, it wasn't on. I asked him a different question. It was about what's something that non-actors don't know about acting, or like a problem that like a non-actor like would never think about. And like this one was mind blowing for me. And he said like just being aware of your surroundings and feeling natural in them. Like, 'cause he said like, so for example, like we shot like there's like 15 to 20 pages of the script at his house, and like it's like for him playing the character, this needs to be somewhere that like he's lived the last 20 years. It can't be like you need to be completely familiar with everything.
Super comfortable.
Yeah.
With everything. Yeah.
And that really stuck out to me. It's like, wow. Yeah, and like that's just like something that like an actor is like doing behind the scenes that like we never like actually like discuss like between director and actor. And like that's like so cool. Like that's a part of the process, and like it really makes me appreciate like acting even more.
Dude, Henry was so killer on this movie.
Yeah,
Henry's a killer.
Yeah, I don't want to get too far into spoilers, but you'll know what I'm talking about. Like the one scene on the last day when everyone's all together in the basement.
Oh yeah.
That. I mean, everyone. It's everyone. But like, just thinking about you and Henry, like, that was like when that one was. Even like being shot on set, I was like, oh,
that's gonna be so like beautifully uncomfortable during that part.
Yeah, like just trying not to laugh like while the take's going on, and that's like the greatest thing in the world as a director, like director/producer, like when you're on set, like watching the scene happen and like it's funny in the moment. Because it's not going to get less funny. It only gets funnier in the edit.
Yes, yeah.
You can make something that's kind of funny, it's got some issues, like pretty damn funny in the edit. You're not going to make something that's pretty funny be, it was okay in the edit.
Right.
So, like, that's, yeah.
Yeah, I always wonder how that works with, like the Coen brothers.
Uh-huh.
Because, like, a lot of their movies have a lot of really funny moments in it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not, like, outright sort of, like, slapsticky. And, like, I always wonder how those scenes that end up being funny, or like they're funny because of a bunch of scenes that happened before it, and it all comes together.
Yeah.
Like how that plays in the moment, because it's like people might not be laughing when the funny thing happens on set, but once it's all put together, it's like having that forethought of like, oh, when this is all put together from the script, like this is going to be hilarious at the end here. Yeah. But like in the moment, everyone's just kind of like, was that good? Was that funny or not? Like, you know, it might be kind of like, you know, that's like an example of like something where it's just like people probably weren't laughing in the room when it happened. Yeah. The edit, it like plays so well.
Yeah, and I feel like that's true on like every comedic set. Like I feel like there are going to be like times in this movie like where it wasn't like the funniest thing ever on set, because it's like it's kind of like when you're like shooting out of order and stuff too. Yeah. And it's like, oh, like we have like this quick sequence right here. But then, like, when you put it all together, it's like, we spent, like, I don't know, like, 30 minutes on this sequence on set.
And it, like, the momentum of the scene in the edit is, like, what gives it the energy and the comedy.
But then, like, it feels so big on screen. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, that's true.
It's funny. David Dobkin.
Who's that?
He directed Wedding Crashers. He also did The Internship. He did a few other ones.
See that one. Was The Internship good?
I did like it a lot. Yes, I love Vince Vaughn. So like any comedy with him, I'll watch it. Yeah. And like, it's one of those that I could see someone who's not like a big fan of comedic film, watching it like with their arms crossed. But I feel like anyone who like either feels neutral to likes comedic film, like on that spectrum, if that makes sense. Yeah. I feel like anyone like that will like really enjoy it. Okay. Like Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson together are so great. And it's not like complete like randomness. Like it's not like it's not a bad movie. Like it's got like a very clear message. It's got like a very clear structure and everything. Yeah. Like, I think there are, like, films that are just, like, crazy. Like, the ones that come to mind are, like, the spoof movies.
Oh, my gosh.
Where, like, those are just, like...
I get a kick out of those. Like, Scary Movie.
Scary Movie's good.
Scary Movie.
But that's... yeah, I liked all four. They're actually in development of number 5. With the original cast from number 1.
Nice.
I'm very excited for that. Yeah. Yeah, so actually, I kind of want to actually like segue into that, because that was actually something that I wanted to discuss that I actually didn't mention prior to you. Well, I actually a lot of our discussion actually has just been like off the cuff.
Yeah. No, what do you want? What do you want to know?
Well, no, because this is interesting. Scary Movie 5. It's in development.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's going to get a theatrical release, which really excites me.
That's sweet.
I was wondering. I just want to talk about like movie theaters, the box office in general. Yeah. When was the last time you went to the movie theater?
I went to the movie theater very recently, actually.
That's good.
What did I see?
This is driving me nuts.
Oh, yeah. We're just getting so into this conversation. Oh, I went and saw... What did I see? Oh, Deadpool vs. Wolverine.
Okay.
I went to the theater and saw that, yep.
You know, I saw that... the day before the last weekend of our shooting. That's what I saw.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I started this time around every Friday, because we would shoot on weekends. Every Friday before we would shoot, I would end my day by going to the theater and then coming home, going to bed. That was the one I watched for the last weekend.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a good ritual.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Okay, so... And how often do you go to the theater?
Yeah, I'm trying to go more. Yeah. Obviously, like, after, like, COVID lockdowns and everything, you know, it was kind of, like, slow to get back into it. But, I mean, yeah, I think I probably try to go see a movie, like, every couple months or so.
Okay.
Not, like, super often.
Yeah.
But, you know, if there's something that's in theaters that I really want to check out, like Deadpool and Wolverine, I knew I was going to go to the theaters to see that for sure.
And do you only, like, go for, like, the big blockbusters, or do you ever, like, go to the theater to watch, like, a smaller film?
If I go to the theater to watch a smaller film, I'll usually go to, like, you know, like, Michigan Theater or State Theater or something like that, you know, because they're always playing, like, the good, like, indie shit.
Yeah. Like,
you're not going to get that at, like, the Cinemark or the Imagine.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
So I guess like maybe okay. So like small. It's like Deadpool and Wolverine. I think it had like $100 million budget, and then like when we were just talking about small right now, like we're probably talking about like $1, $2, $3 million budgets.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever see like mid-budget movies?
Like, what's an example of a mid-budget movie?
Most of like the horror movies that come out. I don't know if you like horror movies at all.
I love horror movies.
Those are usually like $5 to $15 million budget range.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw a horror movie in theaters because I really am. I'm such a horror movie nut.
Yeah.
That like I just stream it constantly. Like, if something comes out, like on Amazon, I'll pay like the $20 rental to watch something that I really want to watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just saw Speak No Evil last night.
I saw you posting about that. You loved that was your favorite movie of the year.
Yes, absolutely loved it. It blew my mind.
I'm hearing great things about it.
Yeah, it was that's a real legit movie.
Oh,
it's I would recommend seeing it in theaters.
I'm definitely going to see it.
It just so good.
Spooky.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's mixed genres.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Silence of the Lambs is like a horror suspense thriller. It's like one of those. It's not like a hard horror.
Yeah,
I mean, if you know what I mean.
Totally.
Yeah, I'm just like asking all this. Like, I personally go to the theater. I average about once a week.
That's crazy. Do you have Movie Pass?
No.
Oh.
I have something through Cinemark.
Oh, okay, yeah. You got some kind of deal going on.
I get one free a month.
Yeah.
And then every year when it renews, I get 2 free.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm hopeful and I'm optimistic. Things haven't been great with the theaters.
Yeah.
And I'm just like curious about like other people's like theater going habits. It's something that I love. It's something I don't want to lose. And I don't think it really is at threat of being lost. I think like if it was going to be lost, COVID was going to be what killed it. 100%. And it survived and it's coming back more and more.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think that we've had a very strong second half of the year so far, and I think next year's primed for like a strong box office.
Yeah, I mean, like I think as long as, which sucks to say because I don't really care at all about like the MCU or anything like that.
Oh yeah, I don't either.
But like I feel like if I was Hollywood and I was like, we need to make sure theaters stay around, like they're gonna make sure that they crank out like a crazy kick-ass box office smash hit like every once in a while for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine was what? That was like runaway success. Like that was crazy.
Yeah. Upwards of 1.2 billion.
Yeah, I mean like that's insane.
Yeah. That did really well. Inside Out 2 did really well.
Inside Out 2, yeah, I didn't see that one.
This was good.
Yeah.
Despicable Me 4 is going to do about $1 billion.
Yeah, I mean, movies like that, like, people are going to go to the theaters to see stuff like that.
Yeah.
It is cool because, like, I do love a good indie movie. I love a good, just, like, thrown together something or another, you know what I mean? Like, I love seeing that stuff. You just don't see that. Like, you'd see that at, like I said, like, the Michigan State.
Yeah.
Or, like, did you ever hear about the Film Lab? Do you know what that is? It's currently defunct right now, but it was a micro cinema based out of Hamtramck.
Oh.
And it was literally like a speakeasy bar with like a projector like about as big as your wall right here. And they would just play like super obscure, like random ass movies that they'd get licensing for.
Okay.
And it was the coolest movie experience I ever had. I would go there all the time. And they were open during COVID. I was driving out to Hamtramck and seeing it during COVID. Because you'd like literally go, you'd like get a cocktail and like popcorn, then you'd like sit. It was like table seating, like a restaurant almost. And they had like some comfy couches and stuff. But I saw some really cool movies I would have never seen, like a lot of foreign films that were like really interesting. Like I would love something like that around here. They shut down. I don't know why they shut down, but they stopped doing it. But it was the coolest thing ever.
That does sound really cool.
Micro cinema.
I love that kind of thing, and it sounds like brings like a cool like film community together. Because I think you see like very different, not like in terms of like demographic, like race, gender, like income status, but I mean like it brings together like a different kind of like group interest / appreciation for film, like at like when you go to like see an indie movie versus like when you go to see like an MCU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's like that kind of thing brings together like filmmakers that are like interested in like film, you know. And they also did a cool thing too, which like would be cool to see more theaters do, which was like you could rent it out, screen your own film.
Yeah, they do that at Michigan in the state. That's how I showed Rosetta Stone. That's how I'm going to show Hometown Summer. That's
cool.
Yeah,
I can't wait for that.
Yeah. I ask all those questions because I'm curious, like, what it will like take to like, and I think it is starting to happen already, very slowly, but not as fast or as momentous as I or like the theater industry would like. Is to like get people to come out again to like those movies that aren't the big blockbusters.
Right. Like you're talking about like a film going culture from like 10, 15 years ago. Where people would just go see movies like on a Friday night. For, you know, any movie that was happening.
Yeah.
As opposed to like you go to the movies when Deadpool and Wolverine is out and that's the movie everyone's seeing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious like what it would take to like have we missed that window, or is it like maybe it's like skipping a generation, or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a really good question. I mean, because it's like the way people get their information. I mean, well, this is a whole totally different topic, but especially about like films, I feel like can be like very fractured, where like people online that are finding out about movies are probably only going to hear about the big movies that are coming out. There's like a bunch of hype around it, you know, like you're not going to get a bunch of hype around. I can't even think of a random ass movie that would come out.
Dude, honestly, like Speak No Evil.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a great example. Like, I mean, I've heard of that. I would like love
because you're a big horror fan.
Yeah.
I bet most of the people listening to this have never heard of it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I guess that's the thing. Like most of the because I like cable television as well, like how that's gone away and how like you get ads targeted to you nowadays. Because like I remember growing up, just watching television, and it was like every commercial break there would be 1-2 movie trailers.
Yes,
and like that's kind of lost.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
and so like how I said, I go to the movies like about like once a week, and like. Yeah, I mean, like, maybe 3/4 or so, I say, of the movies that I see, I would never have found out about if I wasn't on the website and seeing what's showing today.
Yeah.
And I feel like that did exist, like, 20 years ago. Like, there were people that would say, like, what is showing today at the movie theater? Oh, I'll go check this out.
Right.
And it feels like there's a lot less of that today.
You know what might, like, here's an idea that I just had. Because, like, you know, like, I don't really watch streamers, like people on Twitch.
Oh yeah,
like that. I don't really like watch that.
No, I don't either.
But they're super popular, right? And like they always have like this. That is like the equivalent to like the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah,
like the generation that's you know loves Ice Spice or whatever.
Yeah,
I sound so old right now. But like something like that maybe, where like you know you have like actors in movies that are on. Like popular internet things that are just like hot ones, for example. You know, like something where it's like you get a little bit more candid and in depth about, you know, who the director is or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
kind of like what we're doing right now.
Exactly, like this, like something like this, where like people could really like, because it just seems like a lot of. I mean, maybe it's just my side of the internet because like I listen to a lot of like hip hop and stuff like that. Like I'm inundated with like. Brand new artists that are like on this podcast or on this like YouTube video or whatever, and like they're like people that like just started making music like 2 years ago, and now they have like 500 million streams on Spotify. You know? Or like TikTok blows up artists like that. It's almost like you need something like that for like a generation of like films to like propel, so that way there can be like multiple sectors of like interest in like different tiers of movies that aren't just the big blockbuster ones. Yeah, and I mean I'm sure the studios, it seems like a lot of the time they're just way behind the curve and like stuck in their own ways. That's true. But I'm sure like because they're industries that have to deal with so many people too, right? Like a music label, it's like you probably got like, I mean, who fucking knows? But it's you know, it's a team of people that have to manage one artist.
Yeah.
Rather than like there's going to be like hundreds and hundreds of people that touch one movie.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure like they are like working on it and like trying to figure out like a fix because like they need it.
You're really right. I never even thought about that, but that is so true. Yeah, because it's like they're just like, all right, here's the movie, it's in theaters, and it's on streaming now, and here's the next one.
Well, yeah, you know, and it seems like they've started to change that a bit. It seems like in like 2020, 2021, that was very common, like even 2022 a little bit. Yeah. It seems like they're starting to window a lot more. I think I've at least noticed that as of late. It seems like they're kind of starting to go back to the old blueprint or whatever you want to call it. Where how streaming is like recreated cable, like inadvertently,
right?
Like it seems like the normal path nowadays for film, because I follow this stuff really closely, is that like we have like the theatrical run, and then after that, then you can purchase or rent it on like Amazon, Apple,
like Blockbuster, or whatever.
Yeah, right. That's exactly like it goes to like what Blockbuster was. And then usually about like 6 to 12 months after that, you can watch it like on Amazon Prime for free or Netflix or whatever, and then that's cable.
That's the cable.
Yeah.
It
seems like they're starting to do that more and more because they got burned really bad in like 2020, 2021 when it was like, for theaters that are open, like this is here now, but you can also just watch it for free on Netflix or Amazon Prime. And it seems like they've started to get more and more away from that.
I mean, that does seem like a good... Yeah, I mean, like, I pretty much do that. Like, if I don't see something in theaters and I really want to see it, I will pay money to rent it somewhere or something like that. Yeah, or, like, even, like, you think about Long Legs.
That's funny. I was going to mention that in a minute, but yeah, what were we going to say?
I was just going to talk about the marketing for Long Legs. Was, like, I felt like most of the reason why it ended up being such a huge movie because, like, it was such cryptic, smart marketing.
Yeah.
And the fact that you never saw Nick Cage in any of the trailers, all that, like, it was so... There was so much intrigue in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Nick Cage is my favorite actor of all time.
Okay.
So, like...
I appreciate him a lot. He's criminally underrated.
Oh, so good.
Because, like, I actually think he's probably top 10 of our generation. And, like, I think that, like, he almost, like, gets the Nickelback treatment.
100%. But, like, people are starting to... They you know, he puts out so much work.
Yeah. He works his ass off. He's doing like 3-4 movies a year.
Yeah, easily. And then, like, you'll get the one that happens. Like, for me, the big turning point for me was Mandy. Mm-hmm. When I saw Mandy, I was like, oh, this guy might be the best actor ever.
Yeah.
You know, like, no, that's just, like, what I think. But, like, that was, like, a movie like that made me be like, oh, shit, like, Nick Cage is good. And I went there and started watching his entire filmography.
Mm-hmm. Well, you like Willy's Wonderland?
Thought it was alright. It was a cool idea.
Okay, so it wasn't like, it's not like a movie that's going to win an Oscar, but I thought it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, I was going to say about Long Legs, though.
Yeah, tell me.
It's funny how you brought it up. That was a movie that gave me a lot of hope. So, how I mentioned how I went to the movies every Friday before we would shoot, that was the first weekend I went there. And, I went at somewhere between like 9 and 10:30 at night. I can't remember when the showing was, but I went there, and that was a non-IP, non-existing IP, non-sequel. Mm-hmm. And I went there super late at night, and it was a sold-out show.
Packed.
Sold out.
Yeah.
And I was like literally sold out. You could not buy a ticket.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I was so happy. I was like, this is so good for theaters because the movie had a $9 million budget, non-existing IP, non-sequel, and it sold out. And it's like, this feels like 2008 right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's awesome. Like, I hope more movies like this can do that. Because, like, it was like the same thing with, like, when I went to see Deadpool and I went to see Twisters and whatnot. But, like, those are, like, $100 million.
Those are going to be big budget movies, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, seeing, like, a movie like that do as well as it was and to, see, like, be, like, have, like, everyone, like, it's so crowded that you're sitting on top of each other. Like, that was... for someone who loves the movie theater experience so much, like that was just such a...
It was exciting.
It was so awesome for me.
And like, you know what I really liked about how big that movie was? Mm-hmm. Neon.
Yes, I love Neon.
I was like, oh, thank God someone made a cool psychological horror film that wasn't A24.
Yeah.
And that did well.
Yeah. Yeah,
like
no, Neon's really catching on.
They've really monetized or monopolized the sort of like spooky, weird-ass movie market.
Yeah.
Which is great. They're doing amazing, too.
Oh, yeah.
Every movie they do is a non-IP.
Yes, exactly, like, yeah. And I appreciate them so much for that.
And they put out bangers.
They do. Yeah. Neon seems to really be catching on.
Neon's catching on. Let's go, Neon.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm a big fan of Neon.
Let's go, Neon.
They also picked up Chris Stuckman's movie. I don't know if you know who that is.
It sounds familiar.
He's an online movie reviewer. I've been following him for like 10 years. Like I just like watch his movie reviews, and like all of a sudden like he like made a movie, and then like it's like been in like post production for like I don't know how long, like a year or two, or maybe even 3, and like they were like waiting to get distribution, and Neon picked him up, and I was so happy for him.
Wow, that's cool. Good for him.
Yeah, no, good for him for sure. That's the movie's called Shelby Oaks. It's coming out next fall. And,
all right, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
All right, so we're talking about movie industry and getting people asses back in seats, which I would love to, because I also really enjoy the movie experience. All right, let's say this for Hometown Summer, though. Like, for somebody like you in your position as a filmmaker, like, do you have, like, an end goal of, like, having, like, a film picked up, or even, like, get enough recognition online or somewhere, discussion about it online that, like, let's say a studio approaches you and it's just like, Ben, dude, Hometown Summer, we love it. We see the people love it. We want to like work with you to make a movie for us or whatever. Like, is that something that you see as being like a possibility down the line, or like, do you know like where that sort of takes you, or is that even something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, that's a really tough question. Yeah, I mean, I feel like studios scare me because I care so much about freedom and like making what I want to make, and I'm kind of afraid and I don't know like when like a possibility like that would come down the road. I mean, like obviously like that would be like amazing if Hometown Summer got that kind of response. You never know. I mean, like thinking like in terms of odds, like it's not very likely. At this point, but yeah, who knows? It is hard to like get like that kind of the industry's tough, especially like when you're starting out and when you're working like on a film like with like that kind of budget. But like if that were to happen, I mean like that like. I mean, that would be awesome. I mean, it would definitely, like, open up doors that, like, I don't have access to right now. Like, when I'm just, like, working on my own projects. I think I would have a very hard time, like, with limitations that could come from something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would absolutely love to work with a studio. Mm-hmm. But it would have to be my project. Yeah, it would have to like the same like way that like Quentin Tarantino and like Todd Phillips. Do you know Todd Phillips?
Of course.
Yeah, like they like will only like make like the movies they want to make, like how they want to make them, and like they won't let like executives like tell them like, oh, take this out or put this in or let's change the story this way.
Right.
I think I would very much be that way too.
Yeah, those guys, they can swing their weight around.
Yeah. And, but I mean, it wasn't always that way. They were like up-and-comers at one point, and
they had to show and prove that, like.
Well, yeah, I mean, Tarantino was ready to turn his studio down for his first film, Reservoir Dogs. Like, if they didn't give him complete control, he was ready to make it for I don't know what the budget was. I don't know if it was like $50,000 instead of $1 million. But he was he told them no. Like, if you don't let me make the movie I want to make, I'm just going to make it for like $50,000.
Wow.
And like, as crazy as that sounds, like. I imagine I would be the same way because at the end of the day, it is like your filmography. It is your name that's being stamped on it. It is like yeah, I mean, like it is
so
the
true.
production, and like I don't want to make something that's not in my voice.
Right. Yeah, that kind of goes back to our earlier conversation of like working on somebody else's project and having to give up the control. It's like,
Yeah.
that would be the same as like a studio coming to you and being like, well, we want you to make our movie. We have a movie we want you to direct.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's funny. I don't know that I would ever be able to direct something I didn't write.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I would be able to connect with it. I think that, like, you could, like, hypothetically, like, you throw me a script that someone more talented than me wrote, like just being crazy and throwing out, like Seth MacFarlane or Todd Phillips or Judd Apatow or whatever. It's like, yes, this is, like, better than what I can do, but, like, these aren't my characters, this isn't my world, like, I don't, like, they should direct this.
Yeah.
They're gonna make, like, something amazing, and, like, I just can't connect with it.
No, I totally get that. Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, you gotta preserve your legacy, dude.
Yeah.
Hometown Summer, and then the next Ben Vomastic cinematic universe.
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
The Ben CU.
Yeah. We're in the. It's funny. One of someone I went to high school with asked if this movie was in the same universe as Rosetta Stone. Yeah, he asked if I was making
like a sequel, like a spiritual successor.
He asked if I was creating a BCU.
Nice.
That's exactly what he said.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
You're not, right?
No, I'm not. No, completely different world.
Maybe in your third movie you can find ways to connect Rosetta Stone and Hometown Summer.
That'd be funny.
Like subtly hint that there is actually a Ben C.
Yeah, or like I could have like a character, like you could have like the Rosetta Stone and Hometown Summer like posters up in his room or something, like that.
Something like that.
Yeah,
that'll be pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean we are in the very early stages of the next one.
Oh wow, you're already starting to think about the next one?
Yeah, I mean I know the plot, and I essentially know what happens from beginning to end and everything in the middle.
Oh, cool.
I just like actually writing it is also
sure. Yeah, it's gonna take a while.
Yeah, but no, I know what my next project's going to be. Whether it's going to be produced summer of 2025 or 2026 is up in the air. But yeah. It won't be too long.
Sick, man. Yeah. Wow, it's exciting.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
Wow, can't wait for that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I know we got to get wrapping up soon. So just some questions that I ask all of my guests.
Oh yeah.
So, if there was one writer and or director, so it could be two different people, that you would want to work with, who would it be?
It's a really good one. Director... Oh, you know who I would really love to work with? The Safdie brothers. They did Uncut Gems.
Oh, okay.
Good Time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be
I didn't know them by name, but yeah.
I think that they're just... their style is so interesting, and I love that they do this sort of like long take, candid, like having real people in scenes and stuff like that. It's sort of like that. You know, like you see Uncut Gems?
Oh yeah, I saw it in theaters.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
Yeah,
nice. Actually, I saw Uncut Gems at the Film Lab. They streamed that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, I think that would be really cool to like do something like that where it's like you're kind of in a real environment, acting and making a movie in public, and doing something like that with like those, because they shoot with like super long lenses, so they're not obtrusive to the space. Yeah, like I think something like that where I could like really be like embedded into an environment and not feel like I'm actually on a set. Yeah, really interesting.
You know, they did that with Swingers as well.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I had no idea.
Because they didn't have the budget to rent places out. That movie was made for like $200,000.
That's insane.
Yeah. So like, like when they're like at the casino, or
they're just
like
actually in a casino.
Yeah, and like when they're like at the bar, like I can't remember if it was Vince Vaughn, Rob Favreau, or Ron Livingston that said this, but like there's a scene in the movie, and I can't remember which character it is, whether it's Ron or Vince, but like they like cut in through the bar, and like to like talk to a woman at the bar. Like there's like a guy hitting on the woman, but like that's not an actor. That's like a guy like actually hitting. And then it's either Vince or Ron cuts in, and the guy gets pissed, and like that's like an actual person.
No way, yeah. That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow, I gotta find that scene on YouTube later and check that out. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, I think that would be my answer though, like something like that, because like that just sounds interesting and challenging.
Yeah.
And just getting to like live inside of like some kind of like interesting character.
Yeah.
That's why I had so much fun playing like Travis because it was just so outside of me, and that's my favorite stuff to do as an actor. Like the facial hair and everything.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I know I mentioned this to you, but I'll just say it for the sake of the podcast. Maybe in the episode you flash a picture of what I looked like.
Okay, you know? Yeah.
Because like I was on set for the first weekend.
Yeah.
And then the last weekend. So I had to maintain that look for like a month and a half in between my scenes. But that was amazing for me because I continued looking and dressing like Travis the entire time. So funny. I went to Limp Bizkit. I went to Creed. I was up north with my family. Yeah. Like, I was living the guy, like, the entire time. And that was awesome. Because, like, when you do a short film, it's like, I could play a super interesting character, but it lasts for a weekend. Yeah. But this was, like, 2 months, at least, of me looking like this guy. Yeah. And that was so much fun. Yeah. I had a blast being that.
That's awesome.
I really was just outside of myself.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's the right, any director? Do they write and direct?
They write and direct.
Okay.
I would just go that. That's bulk for me.
Yeah. And then one performer, I think I know the answer to this, but like one performer that you would like to work with?
Yeah.
Nick Cage.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would love to be on set with Nick Cage. Even if I wasn't acting with him, I'd just like to see him act in real life. Just see what's going on there.
Yeah, for sure.
Just see the magic happen.
Yeah, no, that would be really cool. Yeah. And then last one, your top 5 comedy movies of all time.
Ooh, okay. One of them, this is not in order.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
The Hangover 1.
Okay. Todd Phillips, love it.
I love The Hangover.
Did you see that one in theaters? You're probably about 17 when it came out.
Yeah, no, I didn't see it in theaters. I got it on DVD, and then I watched it. I remember I got it on DVD my senior year of high school, and I watched it every single day after school for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I remember we talked about this on set.
Oh,
that's a funny story though. Yeah.
Hangover, probably Step Brothers.
Okay.
Love Step Brothers. Love me some. What's his face?
Will Ferrell?
No, the director Adam McKay.
Oh, Adam McKay. Yeah.
Step Brothers. Probably the first Austin Powers.
Okay.
Hilarious.
Mike Myers.
Airplane.
Yeah, David Zucker.
Airplane would definitely be up there. It's a good 5th one for me. I'm trying to think of something more recent that came out that I would really say made me laugh super hard.
It's tough. Comedy's been not in the greatest spot for the last better part of 10 years.
That's so true. I'm trying to think, man. That is really tough. Just for the sake of like weirdness, because I was trying to think of like a weird surreal comedy that I really like, because I really like surreal humor, like Eric Andre show and stuff like that. Like I really like that weird shit. I'm gonna go ahead and lump in like Anchorman 2.
Okay, that's another Adam McKay.
Yeah, because I just thought Anchorman 2 was so off the rails. And I love that they did that. I love that was the sequel, because Anchorman 1 is so pretty grounded for the most part. Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah. Anchorman 2 just goes to outer space for, like, no reason.
Yeah. What about the Ted movies?
I only watched Ted 2 on your recommendation. I thought it was pretty funny. I didn't love it.
Okay, fair enough.
I watched all 3 American Pies.
Okay.
When you recommended that, I think
there's 4, but yeah.
Oh, there's 4? What's the 4th one?
Which ones did you see? Pie 2 and Wedding?
Pie 2 and Wedding, yeah.
There's Reunion.
Oh, Reunion. I missed Reunion. Well, I watched the first 3.
Okay. Yeah,
I watched the first 3.
Those are pretty grounded.
I super enjoyed those.
Yeah, they're very
good. I mean, I've seen American Pie 1 and 2 a dozen times.
Yeah, before. You know the guy that wrote that went to U of M?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because there's like a Michigan connection.
It takes place in Ann Arbor, yeah. Yeah, it's the guy that wrote it, it's a doctor. And he wrote it on a skiing trip in a couple of weeks and sold it for like a few $100,000 in like 98, 99.
That's insane.
Yeah.
What? I had no idea. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, legendary.
Wild.
Shout out Ann Arbor. Shout out U of M.
Shout out Adam Hers.
Shout out Adam Hers.
Let's get him on the show at some point.
Let's do it. Adam Hers.
Yeah.
Let's go. Come on, get on the show.
But yeah, no, it's
sweet.
Great discussion.
Yeah, this was really fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
I can't wait to see the movie. And yeah, good luck with the rest of editing, man.
Yeah, thanks.
And
it won't be too long.
That's great, yeah. We're winding up the year, man. You gotta get this thing cranked out, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I'm putting the pressure on you now.
Yeah.
Come on, dude, let's go.
Yeah.
What's your editor's name? I heard he was cool.
Brendan Takish, yeah.
Brendan Takish.
I probably botched your last name. Sorry, Brendan.
Oh, shit, Brendan. Well, anyway.
I don't know if it's Takish.
Brendan.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a cool guy. I love him.
Yeah. Sounds sweet, man. I know you got this in the bag.
He
got this in the bag.
He does, yeah.
Sweet. I'm sure he's tired of seeing my face at some point, too.
Yeah. All right, but yeah. Good podcast.
Good podcast, man. Thanks for having me.